For literally thousands of years, this has been the symbol of access and security, the humble key, right? It's a simple piece of metal that we all get, but that very concept, the idea of a key, is going through this massive, massive change. Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, just think about it for a second. What if you could cancel a lost key in an instant? Or see a log of every time it's used? What if you could program it to only work on certain days of the week? That's the big idea we're diving into, and trust me, it changes everything.
So, to really get a handle on where we're headed, we got to look back at where we've been. And the mechanical key? Well, it's been with us for a very, very long time. I mean, look at this thing. The basic design here is, well, it's ancient. The very first lock and key systems we know of go all the way back to the Egyptians, around 2000 BCE. Sure, they were made of wood, but the principle was exactly the same as today. One unique object made to open one specific lock.
And what's crazy is just how slow that evolution has been. I mean, look at this timeline. Yeah, the materials got stronger, the mechanisms got way more complex thanks to brilliant folks like Robert Barron and Linus Yale. But the core idea, a physical key for a physical lock, that stayed the same for 4,000 years.
So you're probably thinking, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? A design that lasts that long has to be pretty good. But in our super-connected modern world, the limits of that ancient design are starting to cause some major, major problems.
And here are the big ones. You lose a key, and that's a huge security risk until you change the lock. Someone makes a copy without your knowing? That's a risk you might not even be aware of. And this is a huge one. A metal key leaves no trace. You have absolutely no idea who used it or when. For a business or a big apartment building, rekeying every single door is just a total nightmare, both in time and money.
All right, so with all those problems on the table, technology finally stepped in with a new answer, the electronic key card. This is where the simple lock and key starts to get a whole lot smarter.
The magic trick behind most of these key cards is something called proximity access control. It basically runs on low-frequency RFID, that's radio frequency identification. All it really means is that the card and the reader can talk to each other through the air just by being near each other. You don't have to stick it in or swipe it, you just get close.
Now, there are basically two main flavors of these cards. Passive cards are the ones you see most often. They have no battery at all. They're actually powered up for just a split second by the signal from the reader itself. It's pretty cool. Then you have active cards. They have their own little battery inside, which gives them a much longer read range, but, that battery eventually dies and the card has to be replaced.
So how does all this tech actually fix those old school problems? Well, it's not just a small tweak, it's a total game changer. We can really break down its power into 4 huge benefits.
First up, and this one is an absolute lifesaver for anyone who's ever had to manage a building or even just an office.
If an employee leaves or someone loses their card, you don't call a locksmith. You just hop on a computer, click a button, and boom, that card is useless. Instantly, the security threat is just gone. No cost, no hassle, no changing a single lock.
Okay, number 2. This one gets rid of that whole anonymity problem we talked about.
This is huge. Every single time someone uses a card, it creates a digital footprint, what we call an audit trail. You know exactly who opened what door and precisely when they did it. This completely transforms security from just being a dumb barrier into an active, intelligent system.
All right, number 3. This is where you get this incredible, granular level of control that was just impossible before.
With a regular old metal key, it's all or nothing. You're either in or you're out. But with a key card, you can get so specific. A manager's card could open their office, the server room, and the front door, while a new employee's card might only open the front door, and only between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on weekdays.
And for our 4th and final benefit, this is where we see that this is about so much more than just opening doors.
So a swipe of a card isn't just about unlocking a door anymore. It can be the trigger that tells the whole building to wake up. It can turn on the lights in your specific office, tell the thermostat to kick on, and even disarm a security system. Access control becomes part of a much bigger, much smarter building. Okay, so the tech is clearly powerful, right? But what's actually happening out there in the real world? How many people are using it, and where is all this headed next? Wow, this image really tells the whole story, doesn't it? On the left, you've got this super intricate mechanical beast we've relied on for centuries. And on the right, the new interface, a clean, simple app on your phone. The key isn't even a piece of metal or plastic anymore. It's the device we already carry with us everywhere.
And you know, this tech also plays a really critical role in something we all need to think about: accessibility. Laws like the Americans with Disabilities Act have really strict rules about things like how much force it can take to open a door. These electronic systems, with their push paddles and automatic openers, are absolutely essential for making sure our buildings are truly accessible to everyone.
Okay, but here's the reality check, and this might surprise you. Despite all these amazing benefits, a 2024 survey of apartment buildings found that a whopping 76% still use nothing but traditional keys. So yeah, the future is here. It's just not spread out very evenly yet.
So what's the holdup? Well, it really comes down to some very practical day-to-day concerns. Property managers worry about dead batteries locking a residence out. They worry about the time it takes to program a new key fob. And let's be honest, old-fashioned keys are familiar. They feel simple, and a lot of people think they're cheaper up front.
And all of this kind of brings us to our final big question. We know that technology offers incredible security, tons of data, and amazing convenience. But the real challenge right now is bridging that gap between what's possible and what's practical for everyone, every day. That 4,000-year-old key isn't dead yet, but its days as the only game in town are definitely numbered.